iris scanning technology, they're miles ahead of what anyone else has built.
We invested $20 million into Eightco, which is investing in the Worldcoin.
It is truly a real fourth industrial revolution that's happening. We're living in it.
But how does the token have any value if you're getting it for free?
Here's Sam Altman on Worldcoin. Welcome back. This is Elliot from the Early Stage Investor. We're trying to find life-changing returns. We've caught some trends very early. We found Sam Altman's Eightco company. That was a nuclear power plant that's supposed to power AI data centers, right? It skyrocketed. Today we're going to talk about Worldcoin, another asset backed by Sam Altman. And Sam Altman is essentially the owner of OpenAI, which is the biggest, most valuable AI company on the planet. It's worth hundreds of billions of dollars because they control ChatGPT. So if you want to invest in AI, ChatGPT would be the way to do it. OpenAI would be the way to do it. If we can't do that, we can buy things like Eightco, which already skyrocketed, and we can buy things like Worldcoin, which may be about to absolutely skyrocket. So let's dive into what's going on with Worldcoin. Well, first up, here's Sam Altman on Worldcoin. If we succeed in our mission, World might become the largest network of real people online. So Facebook's a massive network. Instagram's a massive network. YouTube's a massive network. He's saying World will become the largest network of real people online, fundamentally changing how we interact and transact throughout the internet. That is their goal. It's a crypto asset. It's a blockchain project. You can buy the Worldcoin. So that's their mission. He's essentially the most powerful person in the entire AI world right now. Right? OpenAI pays Oracle a massive amount of money. Oracle skyrockets in price because it's a big data center company. They buy NVIDIA chips. Everyone loves NVIDIA. They buy NVIDIA chips, and then NVIDIA invests in OpenAI. So this is a powerhouse ecosystem, the biggest ecosystem in AI. So Worldcoin is very exciting, but here's a development around Worldcoin. Someone's launching a digital asset treasury, publicly traded company that you can buy in your brokerage account. Similar to what MicroStrategy did for Bitcoin, and just MicroStrategy outperformed Bitcoin massively. Well, there's a company that's doing it with Worldcoin. Wait till you see who the backers are and who the chairman is. Here's Dan Ives talking about this project.
There's a company called Eightco. Stock price was $1.45 on Friday at the close. And Monday morning, they announced that Dan Ives, my guest, is now the chairman of the company. The company raised $250 million in a private placement, I think at $1.45. Yeah. And then Eightco was going to go out and buy a cryptocurrency called Worldcoin. Mm-hmm. So the stock proceeded to go straight to $80, then went to $40, and has corrected over the last couple of days, but it's still considerably higher than the $1.45. Yeah. By the way, congratulations.
Thank you, thanks.
But Sam Altman has created this device that gets to authenticate you by looking at your eyeball. And then somehow a cryptocurrency shows up. Explain how that works.
I view like everything Sam's built with World, I view it as an AI infrastructure play. Because in the future, especially in a robotic world, bots everywhere, you're basically going to have to identify as a human. And that's going to become more and more important. But you need true authentication. And I believe what they've built with World in terms of iris scanning technology, they're miles ahead of what anyone else has built. 15 million have already signed up for it, and it's going to about 100 million over next year. But in terms of to put it all together with the token, obviously Eightco buying World in terms of our treasury vehicle. Okay, so I bring the orb in, you sign up, you put your eyeball in, it basically scans it. That data is in the orb for basically a second, and then that data leaves the orb, goes to your World app. The data in there disappears forever. Now it's actually in your app. You get a token, a World token, as part of that.
Just for putting your eyeball in.
It's very similar as like the PayPal model in the early days, right? $20 to start a PayPal account.
I see.
So now all of a sudden you have a token. Now, if you look today, 15 million have gone down that route. That token strategy, the way that the token trades, World, it's all based on this. Now, in the future, look, the goal is that we talk about 100 million. I mean, we believe it's ultimately going to be billions because...
But how does the token have any value if you're getting it for free?
So at first it's free, but now the token is... if you look like in Japan, the second biggest advertiser in Japan uses World as a way to scan relative to, making sure that there are humans and not bots. You see it actually use cases on social media. I believe in the future, you're going to have social media that are ultimately going to pay a fee to actually have authentication from a World user. Our view as advertisers are going to pay for this. So it's a good example of you build a network, the use cases then form.
And then the token has value.
So I don't view it necessarily as quote unquote a store of value today. My view is it starts off, it's an AI tech authentication play.
Okay.
Then as now you're up to 15 million.
But Eightco is just going to own the token.
That's
the authentication is done by his company.
That's by Tools for Humanity. So that's separate.
Got it.
But it's all based on the token strategy. And it's our view that this is something that's going to, as it expands and you start to see a network, it has value in terms of not just the token, but with the network effect and ultimately the monetization in the network. And that's what just like, Sailor's done on Bitcoin, Tom Lee's obviously done it on ETH, through Bitminer. Bitminer is an investor in our venture because of the relationship with Ethereum. It is truly a real fourth industrial revolution that's happening. We're living in it.
So that's Dan Ives. He's the chairman of Eightco, which is the digital asset treasury company around Worldcoin. So they're buying up Worldcoin. Who is Dan Ives? Well, Dan Ives is on CNBC all the time. Wall Street billionaires have CNBC playing all the time. They watch it nonstop. So he's on CNBC, he's on Bloomberg, he's on the traditional finance channels all the time. And because of that, he's built up a brand. He's been investing in technology for a long time. And he's built up a brand enough to the point where he launched an ETF. Look at the net assets of this ETF. Over $750 million. That's how big his brand is. And that ETF is the Wedbush AI Revolution ETF. So they're investing in artificial intelligence. Dan Ives was early to Tesla, he was early to Palantir, and he was early to NVIDIA. Right? So he's been covering tech for a long time, and he's done really well. Now he's built this ETF that invests in AI, and now he's chairman of this company, Eightco, that buys Worldcoin. Massive for Worldcoin. That he's going to be out there marketing Worldcoin essentially. And his ETF, which is about to hit $1 billion in net assets, is most likely going to be buying Eightco, which is going to cause some buying pressure. So he mentioned that Tom Lee of Bitmine is investing in Worldcoin. And Tom Lee is another guy that's all over traditional finance. Again, on Bloomberg and CNBC, you have billionaires, you have Wall Street watching it nonstop, right? So they get the biggest guests. Tom Lee, Dan Ives are on there all the time. Now they're starting to market Worldcoin. Here's Tom Lee.
Bitmine can play a role because it can become a payment rails. It could become almost a bank. It can help as by owning the largest holder of Ethereum today. It's a kingmaker on the DeFi. We were doing moonshots. We invested $20 million into Eightco, which is investing in the Worldcoin, and that already, in just less than 10 days, has already returned more than 10 times our investment. So I think we are becoming a financial infrastructure company.
So Bitmine's now a massive multi-billion-dollar company. They own over 2% of the Ethereum supply, right? So he's saying he's a kingmaker, investing in different projects. One of them is Worldcoin. Who else is investing in Eightco, which again is buying Worldcoin? Well, Eightco Holdings announced a $250 million private placement with additional $20 million strategic investment from Bitmine to initiate world's first Worldcoin treasury strategy. These are the other investors. The transaction was led by Mosaics with a strategic investment from Bitmine Immersion and participation from World Foundation. Again, Sam Altman's World Foundation. Discovery Capital Management, Gamma, FalconX, Kraken, Pantera, multi-billion-dollar massive early investor in crypto that's backed by Dan Moorhead, GSR, Coin Fund, Occam Crest, Biometrics, Brevin Howard, and more. So big players are investing in this company that's buying Worldcoin. People are sleeping on Worldcoin, obviously. It's like one of the purest ways of getting exposure to the biggest tech companies on the planet. And so now there's a digital asset treasury company that's going to be buying it up and most likely outperform it. So that is massive. Just want to bring that to your attention because Not many people are aware of what's really going on behind the scenes with these assets, but obviously it's just an unbelievable crypto project. Now, let's talk about some negatives, some downsides. Eightco, current market cap is over $1.5 billion. That is a massive, massive market cap. So on one hand, it's kind of expensive relative to the cash it has, like $300 million plus, maybe $500 million plus. So there's a premium in the stock. But what did MicroStrategy do with that premium in their stock? They issued shares, they bought up Bitcoin, they bought up more Bitcoin, the company became more valuable, they increased the Bitcoin per share, and the share actually became more valuable because of that. So if this company could do the exact same thing, increase the amount of Worldcoin per share, then the fact that they have a premium in the stock is very positive because they can use that premium to, again, buy up more and more Worldcoin, especially while Worldcoin is so low right now. It's like $1.30 as of the time of recording this. And given what Sam Altman could do with Worldcoin, it could absolutely skyrocket. Why wouldn't he integrate it right into the ChatGPT app? There's literally no reason he wouldn't do that. I think they're waiting to do that. They know it's going to pump the price of Worldcoin. They probably know the world isn't ready yet for a crypto asset, but in the meantime, they're investing heavily in vehicles that could buy it up. So just keeping you posted, potential ways to make life-changing returns. The market cap of this company is high. There is a premium, so it could fall a lot further, but have to let you know what's going on. Incredibly exciting. And if you want to learn more about how I'm investing in these assets, you can follow me on Patreon because you can see my exact portfolio, how much of these assets I have in my portfolio.